welcome back to another episode of Coffee with Toby. It's not travel with Toby because I'm obviously not traveling and I'm obviously sitting in a chair in the house, so I'm not traveling. I kind of am. Anyways, welcome back to Coffee with Toby, episode 2. So, over the past week, I was thinking, what is my next episode? What is the next topic I always wanted to talk about? I wanted to have Fee as a guest, but this we're gonna put, another episode. I don't know, episode 3 or 4. We were just talking about it, but because we are both pretty busy right now, and Fee's the person I'm living with. For those of you who haven't heard episode 1. Anyways, I was thinking hey, let's talk about friendships. Let's talk about making friends on the road while you're traveling, van life, backpacking, whatever. And I know I did a video, I think 3 years ago or something on YouTube where I was talking about that I almost lost all my friends when I decided to travel, when I started to travel when I was 19. But I want to catch up with this video and do it on here and talk about how it is right now and how it has changed, or how my view of this has changed. And I feel like also I want to talk about the thing that happened with Susie, because I know back in the days a lot of people were really curious what actually happened, why me and Susie split up in Mexico, why I started to traveling solo again, etc. So we're gonna go a little bit more deeper into all of this. Friendships, complicated. No, not complicated, but I feel like as older as you get, as smaller your circle gets. And I remember when I saw those quotes a couple of years ago, or when I was like 18, 19, or like even younger, I had like a big ass group of friends, as probably everyone had. Those friends you go partying with, or whatever, you're a teenager or like a young adult, and you just create beautiful memories together. And then when I decided to travel when I was 19, a lot of friends told me, I'm gonna visit you. I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna, we're gonna spend some time wherever you are on this earth, especially when I started van life, because obviously I had my home with me the whole time. So I was able to, invite a friend over who can sleep in my van. But yes, so this never happened. Obviously, no one really came. No one really visited me, which is sad, which is really sad, but that's okay because everyone lives their own lives. And I remember back in the days, I was thinking completely different about it. I was like, why are people not visiting me? Why is no one coming, etc. But to be honest, it was because I choose this life. I choose this life to travel. I choose to be everywhere and nowhere. And especially with a van, you're constantly somewhere else, you're constantly going places, so you are always on the road. And when my family always, they always ask me, yeah, Toby, where can we visit you? But it is hard for me to plan where you can actually visit me if I'm constantly traveling. Like, especially also in the van and backpacking, I couldn't really plan. So this never happened. So no one visited me of my friends. But now I'm turning 29 next week. You're going to see this video on Sunday, and my birthday is on Wednesday. Gemini season has officially started. So I'm turning 29. And turning 29, the group of friends I have are so different. I can count my real close friends on one hand, maybe two, but every person in my friends group is so different. If I put them all together in one room, I think they have nothing in common. This is so weird. But I connect with everyone on such a deeper level. And when I tell you that most of the people that I'm calling my close friends, I met while traveling. I met through social media, um, through traveling, and some are old friends still from when I was younger, my hometown. But a lot of my friends I met while traveling, or as I said, through social media. That's why when people say, oh my God, social media is so toxic, it is not a good thing. We should cancel social media. It's all fake. To be honest, I met the best people on social media, and I met my best friends through social media. There's my one friend Kimmy. She's living in Australia. We met 2013 on Facebook, in a Facebook group, and trust me, we have the deepest friendship. And because we both wanted to go to the US, so there was a US Facebook group, and so that's how our friendship started, through Facebook. Then let's say Susie, I met Susie also through social media. Um, but anyways, so yeah, my group of friends are really, really different from each other. Like every person is so different, which is funny. This took me a long time to have this group of friends that I have right now, because obviously when I was traveling, I met a million people. It felt like I met so many people. With some I connected, with some not. And with a lot of them, you just spend maybe 24 hours together, or maybe 2 weeks, and you create really beautiful memories, but you know you will never see each other again. So I will not call those people like my close friends, because obviously you share a beautiful moment together, or moments together, but you don't really connect on a deeper level, which is a sad part when you're traveling solo, because you are getting so used to saying goodbye to a lot of people that you have in your heart, and they will always be in my heart. They will always, when I talk about different travels that I did, I will always remember those faces, and I will always remember their names, but they're just not part of your life for a long time. And there's this quote that says, some people, life is like a train or something, or a bus. Some people go in and then they go out the next station. Um, so yeah, this is when you're traveling, this is like your bus is huge, and there are constantly people coming in and constantly people leaving. And I remember me and Susie, we never really, really connected to a lot of van lifers. That's also part of traveling, because just because you have something in common, which is traveling, doesn't automatically mean you connect with this person. You can talk about travel and travel plans and where you've been and like all of this, but that's it. That's it. And I met so many van lifers, where the conversations were all about vans, and it was always the same question. And I know this sounds really like mean, maybe, but for those of you who are traveling in a van or traveling in general, um you know what I mean when it's always the same questions, when it's always you meet people and it's always like, oh, where have you been, where are you going next, um then you talk about your van or your travel plans, and then that's it. um but yeah, I feel like the reason why I also spent a lot of time alone was because I didn't really connect to a lot of people. If you look, as I said, in my friend group now, everyone is so different, and no one has anything in common with the other. I have like world travelers um, as my close friends. I have porn stars. For those of you who don't know, Fee here, she's a porn star. Like she does porn and she's a single mom. And I love this. I just support her and I just love that she's doing her thing. And we will talk about this in an episode because I love when people do something that is not really common. And I love when people just live their life and don't, think about what other people think. And then, I don't know, there's so many different friends that I met over the years that I call now good close friends. Um, but it is hard to make deeper friendships on the road if you are constantly leaving. It is hard to, um, yeah, I don't know. With some you just connect, and with some you're not. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you who are in my age now, like almost 29, you will realize that it's getting harder to make really deep friendships. It is everyone has their own life, everyone is going their own way. They all create their lives, and getting into a new friendship is not it's just not getting easier as older as you get. Um but I want to talk about, as I said, I also want to talk about my friendship with Susie because I know you guys are always asking if we're still talking, if we are still in contact, and what actually happened. So, for those of you who don't know Susie, me and Susie, we met in Portugal or in Spain. I don't even remember. Yeah, it was in Spain. And then we spent a long time together in Portugal. We had a really good time. We I don't know, we created so many good memories. And then we both went to Mexico together. We both went to Mexico together. And it was such a big thing for both of us. And we had all those plans. We, wanted to travel together in Central America and then going up to the US. And we had all those plans, but life doesn't always work out as you planned. And when we started traveling in Mexico and then we split up, it was not what I have expected. But that's okay. That's part of life. And if I said it was like easy peasy and I was not, sad about it that we both went different ways, that would be a lie. Because when we decided that she wanted to stay in Cancun and I'm gonna leave because I obviously wanted to travel and stuff. We decided this kind of together, and that what and that's okay because we are two grown adults and everyone has to figure their life out. But of course it was because I was not thinking I will do this trip by myself. So this has changed, but that's also part of friendships. I feel like just because something doesn't go the way you feel like it should be or like you have planned doesn't mean you have bad energy towards each other or you um, go separate ways forever. Because till today, me and Susie, we talk to each other, we call each other, we just have a really good friendship. And I'm glad that at the end of the day this happened, that we went separate ways, because she figured things out that she never did before. I went through stuff that I probably wouldn't have if I would continue back in the days traveling with her. So there's no bad energy between both of us, or there wasn't even when we decided to go separate ways. I was just ready to move on, and I was just ready to experience whatever life brings me. And yeah, sometimes friendships are, yeah, you just go separate ways, but that doesn't mean that you are not friends anymore. And I still call Susie my really good friend, and I can't wait to talk with her as well on this podcast about it, because it's so we can talk about those stuff so whenever we see each other again. And that's what I mean. You meet people that you want to have in your life constantly, because it's not like you're living in a house and like your friends living in the same town. All my friends are all over the world. Like friends in Australia, friends in California, friends in Portugal, friends in Germany, friends, I have them everywhere. And that makes it sometimes you just sit there and you're like, yeah, I wish all of my friends were in the same town. Um, but this will never happen. I guess this will never happen. So, and that was also why I have decided at the end of the day to come to Marbella, to stay with Fee, and to be with friends, because at some point you're gonna miss it. At some point you're gonna miss having people around you, and you don't want to say goodbye, and you don't want to meet new people constantly. You just want to have those friends around you that you're really close with, and that just comes with solo traveling. That you feel lonely, but you have friends, but they're just not there. As ridiculous as it sounds, but that's that's the truth. Um, so yeah, making friendships on the road, it's it or like when you're traveling is a beautiful thing, and with some you're gonna stay in contact for a longer period of time, and with some you're just not, and that's okay. So yeah, if you are planning to traveling by yourself and you're scared you will not make friends, or you're a shy person, you're maybe an introvert, because I remember it so good when I first started backpacking. I was really shy. I was not confident. I was just really like, I have my friend and that's it. And but then I was by myself, because she went to Australia and I was by myself in Bali. And I went into this hostel. It was a crazy party hostel, and I remember I was so scared because I was literally by myself. I was not an open minded person. At the beginning of my travels, I was not really, as I said, confident. So I went in there, and you sleep in those bunk beds, where you are with, I don't know, 4, 6, 8, 12 people in one room. And I was so shy when I went in there, and I was like, shit, how do I make friends now? How do I meet people? Like, how I'm doing this? Do I have to drink alcohol now? And because it's such a thing in hostels that you are drinking alcohol. It depends what kind of hostel you are, but at this point I was like maybe 22 or something, so I was still in my party era. And I was sitting in this bunk bed, and I was sitting there for like at least an hour or 2 hours when I arrived at this hostel, and everyone was like out in the living room celebrating life. This is the worst scenario. It's like coming into a new class, or like you going into a new school, and it's like your first day of school. You don't know anyone. And that's exactly how I felt when I first started traveling and I went into my first hostel by myself. I was sitting there and I didn't want to talk to anyone. I wanted to, but I didn't know how. So I was just sitting there for 2 hours in my bed, and I was like, okay, this is great. Is this traveling solo? Does this feels like now for the rest of my travels, like how I'm feeling now? But I also feel like it's really what kind of person you are. But for someone who never did traveling by themselves, like, or for someone who never traveled alone or solo, and then you get thrown into this party hostel, everyone is drunk, everyone is living their best life, and you're just like, damn, I want to be part of it. So you have to get out of your comfort zone to make friends. Let's say to make friends, as maybe for this day or like the next day or for a week. But you have to get out of your comfort zone, and that's what I learned. um That's what I learned and that's what I did. But it took me really a while. I was in Asia for around 7 months or something, and compared to the first months and the last month, there's such a big difference. I, I remember the last month I was just so open minded, just talk to everyone. I was just like, here I am. I don't know what happened. I was an extrovert. I went fucking crazy. I talked to whoever was there. And then the story that I told you in my first hostel, how I was sitting in my bed and thinking, shit, I can't do this. I'm gonna be alone for the whole travel. I will not make friends, but I did at the end. Because there's always people. If you wonder how I did get out of my bed, my roommate, I was with like six other people in one room. They came in and then they talked to me, and that was the icebreaker. And then they're like, come out, let's play with us, let's play with us. So I got thrown into this huge group of like at least 35 people that were all drunk, and I got thrown into it. And that's when I started to open up, and that's where I started to be more open minded and to talk to people. Um, Even though, let's say, like this UK drunk people, this was really hard to understand them. Like they were talking to me, and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What? What do you say?" And I was like, "Shit, is my English really that bad?" Why I don't understand them. Yeah, but that's basically how I open up more. And it took me, I feel like, maybe a month of constantly being in different hostels, constantly going somewhere else, constantly meeting new people, that I kind of got into this open minded spirit and talking to people and having a good time. Because I swear by God, after that, after the first month, I had a good time in every hostel I stayed. In every hostel, there was this one hostel I stayed, and I was there with 15 other people in one room sleeping. That was wild. But yeah, I had a good time. And I will not call those people my friends, but I had a good time. And I met Lilith in Lombok. And Lilith is the person I lived with, I think, 4 years later in Portugal, in Lisbon. Like we met 4 years ago in Bali, in a hostel, traveled together for like maybe a week. And then 4 years later, I moved in with her in her apartment in Lisbon. For those of you who are watching my YouTube and you scroll all the way back to 2021, or I don't even know. Yeah. So if you are like, this was, that's what I mean. Like you meet people, and sometimes the friendship lasts like a long time, a lifetime. And yeah, so I met Lilith in Barley, no, Lombok, and then I just moved in in her apartment 4 years later. Lilith, if you're seeing this, I'm still thankful that you did this and that that you know you let me live with you for a couple months. Um, but yeah, this is basically it. This is how I started to make friends on the road, even though it's really uncomfortable on the road. Like travels in general, even though it's really uncomfortable and you have to get out of your, I mean, I was 22 at this point. You think like with 22 you're like a grown as adult, but I when it comes to that, I was literally not. um so yeah, if you are a person who, you know, is, I always wonder how it will be now if I, because I got so used to being in a van, how it would be now if I put, if I pack a backpack and go into a hostel again and live with like 10 other people, whatever, in a room, how fast I would make friends. Maybe that's a challenge for me. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should just go for like a 2, 3 weeks trip to Asia and like live in hostels again and see if I'm really that confident. But at least that's how I did it when I was 22, 21. No, 22. I don't even remember. Something like this. Um, so yeah, it's all about literally getting out of your comfort zone. And this it was really out of my comfort zone. Yeah, I remember this so good, going back in time. Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for the second episode. I think I already talked a lot. And yes, it's so funny if you go back in time because you forget about those things if you don't talk about it. So now that I'm actually talking about it, how I was sitting in my bunk bed, shy as fuck, didn't speak to anyone for 2 hours because I was too shy, and then ended up in this huge UK group of playing beer pong and getting wasted. And if you don't drink alcohol, that's also fine. Like, you don't have to drink alcohol. But I did back in the days. Um, yeah, wild times, Toby, wild times. I would say we see each other, of course, in the next episode. Have a lovely day. And yeah, I would say we see each other next time. Adios, amigos. Ciao, ciao. Adios. Yeah, my coffee's empty. I need a new one. Had a rough night.